What's up? My name's Costas from FS Performance Engineering, and today we're installing a front splitter on a Toyota Camry. The whole thing is chassis mounted. It comes in 2 pieces, and there's actually 0 drilling required. So let's get to work. Start by raising the car. You'll need a 10mm socket on the end of a drill, preferably, and a flathead screwdriver. Remove the pop clips shown here using your flathead screwdriver. Grab your 10mm socket and remove the 12 bolts with 10mm heads around the perimeter. The flaps will come off, and we're not going to reinstall them on either side of the car. You'll find there's one more screw right in the center of the undertray. Remove it and the entire undertray will drop. Once the undertray is removed, grab a 10mm socket and a 12mm socket. The 10mm socket removes these 2 screws shown. After you remove the 2 10mm screws, use the 12mm socket to remove the 4 screws shown. These screws are part of the car, and you will be reusing them for your chassis bracket. You'll be installing the chassis bracket using the 4 12mm bolts you just removed. Be sure to apply blue Loctite on them before installing the bracket. Leave the bracket loose when installing. Install your chassis bracket as shown. We recommend, for now, only installing the rear 2. Leave them loose. Grab 3 M6 by 55mm long bolts and the 1/4 inch by 1 inch washers. There's also 3 30mm spacers. Install these between the frame and the chassis bracket. Leave these 3 bolts loose for now. Install the remaining 2 12mm bolts at the front 2 holes on the left and the right. Remember to put blue Loctite on them. Securely tighten all 4 of the 12mm bolts and all 3 of the 10mm bolts. Assure the entire thing is centered and that the squares sit over top of the push pins that are pushed downward on the left and the right sides. We put our 12mm socket on the end of a ratchet to assure that all 4 of those bolts were securely tightened. Securely tighten the 3 10mm head bolts that are holding the chassis bracket to the frame. Now it's time to assemble your air dam. It comes in 2 pieces. The air dam is symmetrical and split directly down the middle. Use your 1/4 inch hex bolts with nylock nuts to secure the 2 together. A 7/16 socket on the end of a ratchet and a 7/16 wrench will be required to tighten. We can now install our air dam. Use 6 of the original 10mm screws to install the air dam. Start with the 2 in the center, then move outward left to right. The air dam can only go one way. You'll need to flex the air dam toward the back of the car to install these screws. Grab your splitter and some isopropyl alcohol, as well as a rag. Push the splitter up against itself so it meets at the center. Then use the isopropyl alcohol to clean where the emblem logo is going to mount onto the splitter. We supply white vinyl, but you'll need to cut it to size. Apply the white vinyl where your logo is going to mount. It'll be between the front 2 holes on the logo. Use a sharp blade to cut right down the middle. We want to separate the 2 vinyl pieces on the splitter. Assure the white vinyl is fully sealed onto the splitter. You can now mount your FSPE plate. Ultra low profile bolts are supplied, as well as nylock nuts for the bottom. Use a 3/32 Allen head on the top and a 3/8 wrench on the bottom. Securely tighten. Hold the splitter under the car with help from some friends. Use the supplied 5/16 by 1 inch hex bolts and 5/16 by 1 1/4 washers to secure the splitter to the chassis bracket. We recommend installing loosely 4 or 5 bolts at this time. You can now mount your splitter to the air dam. You'll need 8 1/4 by 1 inch bolts and 8 1/4 by 1 inch washers. If need be, push the air dam forward or backward from the top to line the holes up with the rib nuts that are on the air dam. For now, secure these 8 bolts hand tight. You'll need to flex the air dam on the very left and the right sides to line up the holes with the splitter. Grab 6 of the original 10mm head bolts that you removed from the bumper at the beginning of this video. Install them through the splitter and into the original spots on the car, on the left and the right sides. You can securely tighten these. You can now install the remaining 5/16 by 1 inch bolts. Be sure to use the supplied washers under the heads. We also recommend using blue Loctite on the threads. Be sure to remove the 5/16 bolts you previously installed to put blue Loctite on them. Go ahead and tighten every single bolt under the car. The 8 along the front will use a 7/16 socket. The 5/16 bolts will use a 1/2 inch socket. And if you haven't already tightened the 6 10mm bolts, go ahead and do so with the 10mm socket. Feel free to use a ratchet and socket combination just to make sure each and every bolt feels secure. We also supply some rubber edging that can mount between the bumper and the air dam. This is optional, but it's something you might want to do to seal the gap between the car and the air dam. Use isopropyl alcohol to clean the top edge of the air dam. You'll need diagonal cutters to trim the edge trim to size. The edge trim sits flat against the air dam and hangs over the top. If you ordered edge trim for the front, clean the front edge of the splitter with isopropyl alcohol. You can now apply the trim to the front. It sits on top and hangs over the front. Use a heat gun if necessary to create more flexibility around the points. Once you've got that edge trim installed, you're done. Enjoy your new Camry front splitter.